Hey everybody, christopherodd here, and welcome to Age of Wonders Planetfall. Now this game's been on my radar for quite a while. It's got XCOM styled combat, and there's actually a few things that I wish XCOM would take from this, mechanics wise. But then there's also more of a civilization styled colony management, and it makes for a really interesting experience, at least in my time with the game so far. Paradox did reach out and asked if they could sponsor a video, which worked out great for me. Thanks for the support from them, because I was going to do a playthrough of this anyways. So I appreciate the support coming from that group. That's very cool. The game is available today. If you click the link down in the description, you can go to the Steam page and check it out for yourself. Now, I've gone through the tutorial, and I had the opportunity to play with the Vanguard class, which is kind of the more like human class. I want to say the more quote-unquote normal group. This screen that you're seeing here is the commander customization screen, where you can build your own race, secret technology that you're pursuing, or kind of like gives you the special abilities in battle. And then you have these different perks which you can make, which can make for really different styles and approaches, depending on what you like. So the other races that are included, we also have the Kirko, which is kind of like an alien race. You've got the Syndicates, which are more like a Templar kind of group. The Amazons, the Devar, which is pretty cool. And then you've got the Assembly. There was a really cool feature video on the Paradox channel talking about the Assembly and how they just kind of consume other enemies. Really neat. So that'll be fun. Now, the way that the campaign is laid out, it should give us a good opportunity to try all of the different races as we progress through it. So I've gone ahead and reset any of the help messages, which will introduce mechanics as we get them in the game, which is good for anybody who's a new Age of Wonders player like myself. So anyways, if you guys enjoy the video, since it's the first of the series, click on the thumbs up button below. Really does help me out. And if you're new to the channel, maybe consider subbing it up. Let's just rock and roll, all right? Let's do a new campaign. Eyes and ears.
The currents of the void shift around me. Follow my voice, my last possession. My name was Empress Carmenia, and I was the last regent of the Star Union. We built a paradise on 1,000 planets, a glistening web strung between the stars. But the cataclysm shattered all, leaving our people stranded and alien to one another. Whoever you are, whatever you have become, it is time to leave this dark age behind and return to the worlds of your ancestors. Uncover our secrets, but heed our mistakes. Forge a new empire, a new Age of Wonders.
Okay, so these are the, I guess, missions, we'll call them, that we have access to right now. We're going to basically just go through them in order. Now, these locked ones, they become available after completing previous missions. So notice, this one becomes available after you do Leave 6. This is a Vanguard mission, this one here becomes available after you do Arcadia Caleste, which is that alien group here. And then there's kind of some overlapping stuff as we go down. You'll notice here's the Amazon, here the Templar group, and so on and so forth. So we should be able to try all of them. Anyways, let's start with Leave 6. We're not going to go through the tutorial again. This is set 200 years after 200 years of cryosleep. The Vanguard face a cataclysmic homecoming. You can go in and customize your commander. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to take everything stock as it's presented. So we're playing as the Vanguard race. The tech is Void Tech. You have a couple of perks down here. Range Specialist, Steady Aim, Laser Rifles, Basic Grenades. No background. We've got Military Detachment. So you start the game with a larger starting army, and then no Vice. So these are the different perks that we saw at the very beginning of the video. Difficulty-wise, in pre-release, this was set up as, I think, easy, normal, hard. And so beginner, advanced, expert has been replaced by that. I think we'll go advanced, which technically is the normal difficulty from pre-release. Now, Hero Resurgence, basically we have to select what happens when a hero dies during a battle while their side is still victorious. And the important thing to remember here is that it's when you're victorious. I'm going to say, I'm probably going to regret this, but we're going to say never automatically resurrect a hero. And, you know, if people die, I want them to be dead forever. All right, that's just how it is. Might make things more difficult, but either way. Leave 6, let's start our mission.
Commander's personal record, Vanguard Expeditionary Forces. Cryosleep cycle completed. No casualties. Time since launch, 197 years. We're finally back. After a storm destroyed our hyperspace passage, we had to take the long way around. Most of us joined the Vanguard to escape our past. 2 centuries should be enough to give everybody a clean slate. Time to contact Vanguard Central Command. We're heading for Leave 6, the military transit hub in this section of the Borderlands. The crew is already speculating about visiting the Elysium parks. Gambling, booze, and promiscuous androids. Oh well, after 2 centuries of sleep, it's time for some fun. Something is wrong. We have reached the Leave 6 star system, but instead of orbital patrol, there was only scattered wreckage awaiting our arrival. While searching for survivors, we spotted a ship of unknown configuration. Entering the planet's atmosphere, it ignored our hails. Residual void interference prevents us from scanning the surface. The Elysium parks must wait. We have a new mission. We need to assess the strategic situation on Leave 6. Contact Vanguard Central Command and help them clean up this mess. Prepare for Planetfall, for the Vanguard, and for the Union.
I actually really like the little story expositions, the start of these. Just to kind of set the tone and like give you some like overarching narrative to focus on. It's really well done. So we get a bit of a breakdown of the planet that we're landing on. It's mostly land, very small amounts of water, and our current objectives are to find out what happened to the planet and find the alien ship, but that'll likely change as we get in. Now, even though this is a campaign...
Welcome, Commander. I am Ava, your autonomous integrated virtual assistant. Standard issue for every planetary governor of the Star Union. My messages will appear when important actions are undertaken for the first time. They can be reviewed at any time in the Imperial Archives.
So, sorry, these are the help messages that are going to appear anytime something new comes up. And we're going to keep these on because it'll just introduce new mechanics in a better way than I could explain them. She's also saying this diamond icon and color are going to assist and give us recommended actions that we can take. We can disable these messages if we want, but we want to keep them on. So we can pan the camera around using WAS and D. That's pretty basic. With the base camp set, we're ready to march out. Down here, it's the same desolate image as in orbit. It's all desert and charred ruins. The tropical paradise Vanguard Central created for their soldiers has gone to hell. Someone's been fighting a war here. The question is who and when. So far, none of our standard frequency calls have been answered. If there are any survivors, they're either cut off from the communications or unwilling to talk. Time to search the old-fashioned way with our laser rifles ready. Beep, 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 beep. That's my best robot voice. Robot ambles playfully. Would you look at that, Lieutenant Yang? Your little friend is making himself comfortable in this rotten place. Yes, sir, but it's no surprise. My brother used to be stationed at one of the Leave 6 repair stations. This is where we assembled Tapples. I guess that's the robot's name. He must be feeling he's close to his... Hey, Tapples, what do you think you're doing? Beep, 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 beep. Robot slips through one of the still unfinished sections of the camp wall. He dashes straight into the desert. Okay. We're going to send an Owl Scout out to look for any Star Union presence in the vicinity, which is down here. Not all armies on the strategic map are hostile to you. Only when an army banner is showing a skull should you be careful to interact with it. So this is going to match one of the objectives up here, and then you see we get some rewards, influence and production. So similar to Civ, we do have production. We've got knowledge, which is kind of like your science-ish. You've got Cosmite, which is type of currency as well, and then your influence, as we just mentioned. So energy is another type of currency. Everything that we decide to build or buy uses up some form of one of these 4 things. So we also need to find the alien ship, locate the landing spot of the unknown vessel. This is an exploration quest. Use your scout units or other fast-moving units to complete it. So we can send somebody out there just to look around for us. Here's Tapples. Find out where Lieutenant Yang's pet pug is run off to. Adventure quest. Make sure to bring an army when you move into the target location. Okay. So, this is the basic drop-in point, which is randomly generated every time, even on these campaigns. It's different. So I like that, similar to Civ, it gives us everything that we need to do on the right side, and we'll cycle through all of our units so that we don't miss anything. So first thing we need to do...
Events listed in the right side of the screen are significant developments that happen during the course of a game.
So this is... First thing we need to do is review the events that have happened. It's set up a victory condition for us where we uncover the fate of the Leave 6. So up here, we'll get updated with different objectives we have to pay attention to. You can end this mission by investigating what happened on Leave 6 since your departure almost 200 years ago. We're looking for 8 different clues, okay? Planetfall objective report.
The Objectives interface gives an overview of available objectives. Quests can come from NPC factions or from special sources during the campaign. The active victory conditions for the current session can be seen here, as
over
well
here.
as your progress in each condition.
Once researched, a capability rank is shown for each category, showing how well you're doing compared to other players in the game. If you're familiar with Civ, then you'll understand how that works. Covert operations can be used to gather information on non-allied players. So there's all these different branches here, Unity, Military, and Development, things that help us towards a different unlocks and such.
In addition to regular quests, the game features Empire tasks.
This is what she's talking about.
Into 3 categories, each representing an important pillar of your faction.
So processing through these Empire tasks yields rewards and sets you on a path to victory. Being the first commander to complete a task gives you an extra Pioneer reward. Okay, so as an example, under the Unity branch, we have the Emissary, and it says do 2 quests for an NPC faction. Achieve peace with an NPC faction, and then you would get these rewards. If you're the first one to do it, then you get a whole bunch of influence, which is this up here. And as you can see, we're getting 5 per turn. So this is like 5 free turns of influence, which is pretty good, right? And then there's a bunch of them that we can do. Anyways, when we're looking at this, there's a couple of things we want to pay attention to. So these are enemies out here.
Marauder guards. Having taken a location of value, they will remain there and protect it with their lives.
So we can go out and fight these guys, which we'll start doing right away. You can see that they have an army power, and so do we. So when we have...
This is an army. Armies
She'll probably explain it.
6 units on a single hex and are used to explore the world, attack enemy armies, and defend colonies.
So selecting a unit's portrait, the army pattern will display its abilities.
To move an army, select it, and then move the cursor to the hex you want it to go to. A preview of the route is shown with a blue path to indicate how far the army can move this turn.
Important thing to note, an army can only move as fast as its slowest
Armies
unit.
with multiple units can be split into smaller, separate armies.
So what she's pointing out is that we've got 6 units in here. We've got our hero, we've got a Vanguard assault bike, and then we have 4 different troopers. And we can march these guys in and out of formation if we want. We want to keep these guys together because we want to just go and stomp some of these enemies. We have 2 groups right now. We've got Lieutenant Yang here. This is more of like a support group, so we kind of want to be fighting with these guys at the same time. The one thing to note, though, is that she does have a couple of these owls, which are basically scout units. And so I'm going to separate this, and I'm going to send one out this way. And all you got to do is click on this. Shows the remaining movement points and stuff. But over here, this is somebody that we want to make contact with, so we'll send our scout to do that. Looks like a little robot friend has found himself some company, though wait a second, aren't these road sweeper units patrolling the streets? I may not be an expert on maintenance robots, but the last time I checked, they didn't require any laser guns to do their cleanup. Troop hygiene must have really dropped since we left. Good one, Commander, though I doubt this place has seen any visitors that would have appreciated a clean walkway in quite a while. It looks completely deserted. Agreed. Either way, I suggest we interrupt this particular mopping up before your little peck gets blown into pieces. So we need to try and save Tapples here. Rescue Tapples before it gets attacked by the maintenance droids. Some landmarks need to be entered to fight its defenders. Move your army into the structure to be able to enter it. So we'll try and get in there and battle. We spotted Tapples, and I think that happened because we brought our scout down here. We can sell these rewards for energy if we want, but we're going to just take the production and take the research. All right, now... we need to give orders.
Shows actions available during the current turn, as well as urgent matters that require attention.
And this is what I was mentioning before, where we can make sure that we don't miss anything that we need to be doing. So we could go out and try and take care of like a small group here if we want, or we can try and rescue Tapples. Let's maybe do that first. It seemed like it was time sensitive. And we'll just bring the support unit along. And we don't need to we don't really want to send her too far ahead. We'll just skip her turn for now. And then we need to set up
colony interface.
Our colony.
It allows you to inspect and control your settlements on this planet. The tabs at the top left cycle through the production and colonist options. Under this colony's name, you can see the amount of each resource this colony generates. A description and a breakdown of the colony's income can be found in the tooltips of each resource. The currently selected colony tab is Unit Production. All units available for construction are listed here.
Now, units cost both production and energy to build. The higher 2 units also cost that Cosmite. That's this one here. Now, similar to Civ, you've got your units that you can build, which are super basic right now. We could build more of these owls for scouts, or we can build troopers, of which we already have a few. It's probably wise for us to knock out an owl, but...
This is the Structure Production tab. Colony structures can be built from here to unlock new units, strengthen the economy, and bolster the colony's defenses.
You'll notice she's actually recommending to build this central replicator factory. This provides production in this colony. Now, over here...
lists details of the colony's growth and happiness. The colony's output can be fine-tuned by assigning colonists to resource slots.
Again, similar to Civ, you're going to see that our colony does grow. Right now, we have 3 out of 16 available. We also have happiness to manage, and people go into like unrest if people are unhappy, which makes sense. Over here, we've got our colony center. We can change the name, tells us what we have going on, tells us what's happening in the sector. So it's fertile plains and arid. That's in this section here, which lends itself to research and food, also energy and production. So this one's like super well balanced. Sometimes we'll see one that leans more towards the other. It is suggesting for us to do the central replicator factory that gives us extra production, but I'm actually going to go against that, and I'm going to do the biofarm because I want the extra food to happen.
Units and structures can be built in a colony by selecting the Produce option, which places them in the production queue.
And if we add a bunch of different things here, it'll just queue up all along here. But the reason I want to do that is because it'll encourage this growth, and as we have more colonists, we can then do more, we can focus more colonists to gather these resources. Happiness here, we don't have slots yet, but we'll build something that will help us with that soon. Anyways, that's our turn for now. Okay, so I'm going to manually grab our scout down here. We're going to go make contact. Now, take note of these skulls. This would be a fight. This would be a fight. This is just a like an NPC. And these NPCs we can get quests and stuff from. So we're going to go over here and try to make contact.
This is an army belonging to an NPC faction, a group of sentient beings native to this planet. NPC factions can be interacted with and will provide quests and issue demands.
Stop, hold it right there, filthy renegades. Return to your hovels immediately and we won't have to put you down like dogs. What is this madness, soldier? Is that how the returning crew of a sleeper mission is welcomed home these days? Step aside, let me talk to your superiors. Remember, we were in cryosleep for 200 years? Sleeper mission, impossible. There are no more ships arriving from the void. Don't lie to me. Ruby Squad, Emerald Squad, Sapphire Squad, you're all madmen. You know what? We'll let you speak with the prefect. He'll show you how we deal with traitors. Hard to believe these wretched creatures were once proud Star Union citizens. I always felt the Paragon were going too far with their cybernetic enhancements, but this? Are they even still human? And what about calling us renegades? Have their brains gone rotten as well, or is there something more to this? Time to talk to their prefect. Vanguard Central Command will know what is going on. In the meantime, we should keep our eyes open for the commanders of the Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire squad they mentioned. They could be trouble.
Objective complete.
So searching for survivors, done. We've got some rewards here. And now we actually need to find the leaders of these different squads that he mentioned. So we can send out our scouts to try and handle that. Appeasing the Paragon is another thing we have to do. Prove your good intentions to the Paragon and reach a peaceful relation with them. To increase relations with an NPC faction, interact with their armies to receive quests or access their dwelling on the strategic map to make purchases within the faction's dwelling shop. So if we do the thing that we just got from him, we find these squad leaders, then I think we should gain some relations with him. All right, let's move into this area. And we'll provide some backup here. And see if we can just enter. Okay, yeah, we ran out of points, so that's good. We'll just wait till next turn. The biofarm is done. So note over here now, we're doing 34 per turn, and we're going to grow faster. You can see this little thing as well, very similar to Civ. We have 3 population in 1 turn. We're going to have an extra. And then we can allocate them if we need. Right now, I'm going to leave all that on auto so we don't have to think about it too hard. The next thing we'll probably do...
Production tab lists the structures that can be built in any of the province sectors of the colony.
So sectors we'll get into in a second, but it basically allows us to capture areas around and expand, and then use that towards our colony goals. The next thing I'm probably going to look at doing is... Let's just whip out a Vanguard Owl Scout here, and we can send them in other directions. Discovered the Paragon dwelling over in this area. Orders required, we're just going to skip her turn for now. And then our scout here, let's see what's on this tab. Okay, can I get in there?
This combat preview is shown prior to any attack.
Now,
all participating armies are shown, and you will also see an indication of the enemy army's strength compared to your own forces.
I just want to show you this. We're not going to enter this battle because we'll get slaughtered. It does a good job of showing us an overall power for the army that we selected. So we're at roughly 80, they're at 340, and it's called an impossible battle, which it would be. We would just get destroyed. When an army is attacked, this is important. The adjacent hex rule will cause adjacent armies to be drawn in. So if we had a couple of people with him and he gets attacked, then everybody fights. But we're not going to be doing this at all. We're going to be running away. But this is good, so we know what's out here. We can head down in this sector, but yeah, let's do it. Let's just go look.
Hazards linger as a reminder of weapons of mass destruction that were deployed in the past. They have a sector-wide effect on any armies in their sector, both on the world map and in tactical combat in that sector.
So any of these highlighted words, I just want to point this out as well. This will take us into basically like a codex style sorting. I don't want to say it's like a civilopedia, but it is. It's pretty much exactly like that. And it'll break down anything that we want. We can do a search in here, and it's actually super helpful. So cool, that's great. There's geothermal activity here. This is why this triggered, because of the this river. Now we have to set research.
Welcome to the Research Center, Commander. Here we allocate knowledge to rediscover the technologies of the Star Union and search for new frontiers.
Now there's two things. There's 2 things to pay attention to here. We've got military research and society research. Knowledge is applied to both types of research equally at the end of each turn. Higher tier research is locked behind prerequisites and
military research concerns
works
unit
as you can
unlocks,
imagine.
Unit mods and military operations.
Okay.
Society research concerns economic development, governmental policies, and espionage.
So it's split out pretty specifically between these two. Now, in the military tree, the first things that we have access to are nanite support, subjugation, ordnance, and phase manipulation. Each of these is going to unlock a mod that we can then install into each of our individual units, which is actually super cool, and you can start to customize your armies and stuff. So the basic gist of these mods, this one does healing for 15 health. This one allows you to inflict bleeding on cyborg and biological units. And then you've got this one down here where you can gain phase field. It makes them harder to hit, and they can walk through obstacles, which is pretty nice because once you see the battlefield, it'll be pretty like clustered up with stuff. So I think we're gonna go for the healing because it's pretty powerful, and we're definitely gonna take damage early. So we'll start there, and then you can see these branch out as necessary. We could go into heavy laser applications, but it's going to take a lot longer to get, and I like having the healing, so we're going to select this one. And then in society, we've got frontier policies here, which helps us get additional food. These are things that we're going to talk about a little bit later. We can set these up to kind of like government stuff, if you will. This is a colony upgrade where we can build like a combat simulation center and give experience to people around it. There's aquatic deployment, which we're probably going to ignore this. There's not a lot of water here, but this lets us build stuff on water. Frontier facilities is important. There's a recreational dome, which gains, helps us to get happiness slots, and I mentioned that earlier. This is what I was alluding to. Also gets us this colonizer, which lets us go out and put extra colonies down. And then we have area surveillance, which helps us with a couple of other things up here that give us access to kind of scan areas that we can't see at the moment. Anyways, this one's recommended, and it's a good option. It'll get us these happiness slots. We'll start this research, and we should be good. Actually, I think I have to select each and do it. There we go. And then up here, you can see our corresponding time in each research tree. Cool. Now this, yeah, let's come in here. We'll hit that next turn. And now I think we're going to get into some combat. We have a message from the Paragon faction. Think of the children. Ruffians, outlaws, thugs. How dare they oppose the will of the Paragon? While we struggle to feed the children of our land, these robbers plunder and steal, causing the poor to suffer. There's no future in this, Jack Gelder. Will you rid us of their menace? Think of the children. So we have to slay some units here for the Paragon, and we'll happily do that. This is showing our relations with them, and we do want to appease the Paragon and get to that peaceful status here. So this should help us. This here tells us how much we need to get to the next state, which is peace. We need 10. If we do this, that'll give us the 10, and everybody will be happy. Okay, there we go. Greetings, Jack Elder. Your actions on Leave 6 have been closely observed by the Prefect. He believes that with our guidance, there may yet be hope for you and your kind. Tell us, what is it that you want today? So we can ask for more quests. We can, like, threaten them. We can talk to the Prefect and start doing negotiations, but we don't really have anything to negotiate with. We're just going to close the channel and move on. We could also say, hey, we need this area, but we need influence for that. So we're just going to leave it for now. And we're going to try to go in here.
Landmarks are remnants of powerful Star Union structures. There are 3 kinds of landmarks: bronze, silver, and gold, with increasing economic value.
So landmarks have an inherent exploitation with gold and silver landmarks, automatically counting as a level 5 sector. This is all like above my scope right now, but this is a good landmark, basically is what it's saying. So we're going to enter in here. This landmark's an advanced production sector, gives the following things when annexed. Additionally, unlocks the following building in your colony: spaceship maintenance bay. So they don't have a ton here. We've got a pretty solid grouping: 710 attack power versus 390, which is rated a safe battle. Let's start it. You can auto battle, but I mean, like, come on, don't auto battle. Get in here and have a super time.
To lead battles themselves using the tactical combat system. Help messages are available for new commanders to learn the basics of combat.
So I'll keep this on again.
The battle has started, Commander. The defending army always gets to act first, followed by the attackers.
Okay. Enhanced targeting. So basically they're just dropping a bunch of buffs on each other.
During a combat turn, each unit has 3 action points to spend on using their abilities, which can cost between 1 and 3 action points. Regardless of cost, using an ability always ends the unit's turn.
So the really cool thing that it does is it shows you color-based tiles.
Active abilities that they can use during combat. Next to attacks, they have a guard ability, which increases the unit's defenses until the start of their next turn. Guard abilities always cost 1 action point.
Okay, so it shows color-coded hexes based on the movement points. So as she mentioned, they have 3 movement points. If you go in the green, that's not using any of them. If you go into the blue, that's going to use 1, purple is 2, red is 3. The other important thing here is that we take a look at the enemies. So this is an autonom golem. And if we click this, we can see what their abilities are. So he's got tactical FACE. He's got repeating shot for 13 damage, but he's got to be in this little radar with a 1 beside it. He's got to be right next to you in order to use it. There's a bunch of other stuff here, but that's the basics. Okay, so it shows you his accuracy at 90%, his damage at 13, and his range at 1. He's also got the BOMB, the bomb, which is basically a mass blowing himself up. And he's got to be like right on top of you. It's 100% accuracy, tons of damage, and then he's got a bunch of other stuff in here like psionic resistance, stagger resistance, which I'm sure she'll introduce us to very quickly. So we can tab through. I've switched my you can't actually tab through. I switched it to like the tilde key so that I can go through my units. Tab can't be assigned for whatever reason. So we're going to move some of these guys up. Now there is cover. You'll notice here, full cover and half cover. It's kind of like XCOM, but when you're in full cover, it means that they can't see you at all. Whereas half cover, it just gives you some, it reduces your chance to be hit. So we're gonna move up a couple of these guys.
Has moved into cover. Cover protects the unit by making it harder for enemies to hit them with abilities. Cover is directional and only protects against attacks if it is between the targeted unit and the enemy.
Now, some units are too large to use cover. In that case, they can be cover for other units. There's also large obstacles that block line of sight, allowing units to hide behind them and avoid being targeted altogether, which is what we just kind of learned about. Now, we have an Overwatch ability, which you'll be familiar with if you are into XCOM.
Enter Overwatch. While in Overwatch mode, the unit will have a red eye icon above its head. This unit will fire its primary ranged attack at any enemy unit that moves or uses an ability on a hex within this unit's field of view.
Now, what's cool about this, their Overwatch is more targeted, so you can't just set it up and hope that anybody that runs past is going to get hit. It's going to affect a certain number of tiles. I can only trigger once per unit. If a unit using Overwatch is staggered, the Overwatch mode is canceled. And staggered is kind of like, it's like a stun. Again, if we want to go in here, we can see exactly what it does. They're going to lose an action point from any attack, regardless of whether it's a single shot or repeating attack. Staggering the unit can stop them from using strong abilities that require 3 action points, or even immobilize it completely by staggering it with multiple different attacks. So if you can reduce an action point each time you stagger, it won't be able to do anything, which is pretty nice. But we saw that that unit up there had stagger resistance, so something to keep in mind. Anyways, this is the Overwatch thing that I can set up, and you'll notice like this thing providing that big cover also for us, so we can't target anything that would go in there. But if anything comes in this area, which we would have vision of, then we'd be happy. So we're going to do that. Our assault bike is a little bit different, doesn't have Overwatch. It's got this single array laser. It's a focused laser array. It's a single action, 5 range, lots of damage, and it does knockback. Also high impact stagger. So that's pretty powerful. We'll start moving him in there. And he's got a lot of movement range as well, so he can he can get in pretty close. Bring him up in this area. Next up, another trooper set. So we're going to come up and look to set some Overwatches. It's about the best that we can do. One of the things I really like about
Commanders and heroes are some of the strongest units in any army, capable of wielding a variety of powerful weapons and even piloting vehicles. They level up as they gain experience, allowing them to unlock new abilities and buffs.
So this is really important. We have to keep these guys alive at all costs. If a commander is defeated in combat, they'll return to their faction's headquarters after a certain number of turns. Heroes do not have this special protection. So commander versus heroes, okay? Now his ability, he's got a laser rifle, 7 distance. It's a repeating rifle, and this is important. So right now, if we had an enemy that we could target, he'd be able to shoot 3 times because he has 3 actions remaining. For each action that you lose, that's a shot that he can't take. So if you move 2 actions and then take a shot, it's just a single shot. Anyways, we're gonna move up and drop an Overwatch. Oh, I moved him. That's my bad. I moved him all the way. Okay. Let's move this guy, this trooper in here. Drop an Overwatch in this direction. We'll just end his turn. Let's come back and get this guy. I like the hex system because it makes you consider like all of your possible areas of approach. And let's see what they do.
Most abilities that are used on enemy units have an accuracy rating, which is the chance that the ability hits the intended target.
Now this does have a graze feature as well, so if they're gonna miss, they have like a graze chance, and it will reduce the amount of damage that it does. So he straight up missed. There's an Overwatch trigger. Remember, this guy doesn't have Overwatch. All right. Now, we want to stay away from him. We saw what he's capable of. A lot of damage, but he has to get up close. We kind of have to kite him around a little bit. These guys, we should also check what their abilities are. So he's got a defense laser, which is 7 range, 8 damage, 75% accuracy. He also does some repairs. And then we've got the Autonom Sentinel, who's got defense laser as well. So this is a monitor. This is a Sentinel. One flies, one doesn't. He's got a bit more armor. All of this stuff will come into play as we go. It'll get introduced to us. So let me bring this guy around this way, I think. Let's see. You'll notice when we hover in different positions, this little crosshair changes, and that's to indicate basically our hit chance. So from here, it's pretty good. The further away we go, the less it is, the less strong it will be. Now, this guy, I don't think he takes cover, so I don't think he can be flanked either. But let's move over here. And we're going to take this, which does some stagger. This ability is like an AoE attack. You have to be up close. Let's do this, though. Only a 50% chance to hit. He's got a pretty high armor rating, which reduces damage straight up. Something to pay attention to. One thing we might want to consider is throwing a grenade, which does stagger as well, reducing action points and canceling defensive modes. However, he's got that stagger resistance. Less likely to lose action points when taking damage. So we're going to have various degrees of success there. He only has, what, 27 health left. So, you know what? We can actually get a green fire off there from this location. And we can take 2 shots at him. We just have to make sure that we have the follow-up. This would be a yellow shot, which would be marginal. Let's maybe start with this from further back. So 50% chance, but we get 2 shots at 50%. Because we had 2 action points left. Ah, they hit both. Props. All right. Let's go in here. We'll have 2 shots in the green. And I think we might be able to do it. Oh, it's not going to be quite strong enough. Okay, so that changes things a little bit. I could come in here and have one shot. How much does he have left? 7? Yeah, I think this could work. It's gonna be close. It's because of his armor. I definitely have to be thinking about that. Well, let's go. He's down to 1 health. Sad times. Can I get any vision of him? Not looking good. I think what I might try... Let's bring this guy over. And the grenades are very light range. However, we just need the 1 damage on him, and I think we're going to do it. Not worried too much about the stagger. Notice as well that it targets the hexes around where you're throwing it. So we're going to throw it right on him, which might remove this cover, but we've got this one here to protect from that angle. We'll take it.
Annihilated.
All right, let's move these guys in. We've got a full cover spot here, and then we can Overwatch around it. So he just dropped a heal for some reason.
A unit attacked from the
Hello.
sides or back is considered flanked and
So
takes increased damage. Units in guard mode cannot be flanked.
One thing that'll be something we have to learn over a lot of time is just exactly how the hex tiles work. Because here you would think that we're safe, but I guess because this part of the hex is revealed, from that angle he's going to have a good shot on us. Units can also be turned to face any direction. Units that have used an ability can no longer be turned. Abilities that require a target will always turn a unit towards that target. Yikes. So this guy might drop. Oh, they're going over here maybe? No, he's going for him. Whew. He's almost dead. See, this is where those nanites become in handy, but we are currently just researching them. So these guys, I guess that's the thing to consider, is that it's only going to be from way over in this area. All of this is going to be open for them. All right, we have pretty good shots on this guy. So the only thing I'd have to consider is that we're probably flanked from this location. If I go from here... We could take this spot and still have 2 shots. Okay, nice. Probably gonna just keep him there for a bit. Want to see where I can get a good shot off. This will be yellow, which isn't terrible. 75. There you go.
Enemy destroyed.
Nice job. Another cool thing about this game is that your battles can be really huge when you get like multiple armies going together. This one we only brought in this single army, but yeah, it can get pretty. It can scale pretty aggressively. I'm gonna bring this guy in. Let's see. I think we're gonna fall back with this group for now. I'll set up an Overwatch, but I don't think it's really going to matter. And then we'll bring this group up, and we'll have a shot, albeit not a super great one. Only 40%. Let's set up the Overwatch instead. Does this guy have any, like, AoE attacks that I have to consider? He has a superior Overwatch, which gets additional damage. He can also help to target, raise units' accuracy and critical hit chance by 10%. Yeah, I think we're fine. But what I was worried about is that if we group people up, there's sometimes these like chain attacks that we have to be watching for. So let's bring him in here. We'll put him into defense mode. And then let's bring this trooper up. Now, we can't really name individual units per se. There are some like templates that we can assign. Let's do like, I guess it doesn't really matter. If he comes through here, it's fine. And he's not going to come all the way over here, so. You can assign these templates, which can be used in a roundabout way to name individual units. You can name your towns or your colonies and such, though. So, all right, we want to get in closer if we can and finish this guy. This is only going to be a single shot. Let's go from here and have 2 shots. 60%. Oh, they're hitting. I like that. We'll bring in this guy. Let's go, Jackie boy. Only 40. We can come down here for a flank, though. Let's take this spot.
A unit has been staggered,
All right.
causing it to lose an action point. Most melee attacks and explosives will stagger units.
Now, we don't really have any melee attacks, but we do have the grenade explosives and then his ability. And notice this one here, it has that knockback, so it does push him out of position. Something that could actually hurt us in this scenario if we aren't able to kill him, but it's looking fairly likely that we'll be able to take him out. Should be, yeah, 95.
Enemy down.
Okay.
They've never stood a chance.
So that's like our first basic combat approach.
Gain experience based on the number of enemies that were defeated during that combat. A unit that has earned sufficient experience levels up and can gain various bonuses.
Now, this is important here. Each unit in the battle earns experience equal to the total combat experience divided by the number of friendly units that entered that battle. So fewer units in your group means they're going to get more experience, but of course you're weaker. So it's a interesting balance. And if you want to like power level units, then you could do that. Anyways, we won. Pretty good. The robot euphorically jumps from Dayu Jang to Jack Gelder, slewing its antenna in excitement. Come here, Tapples. Now that's a good boy. Though you have to promise to never run away like that again. Just look at what you got all of us into. Looking around may actually be worthwhile on this occasion, Lieutenant. Do you remember how all the ships here had been polished and flagged for our launch day? Now they look as if they belonged in a museum or the deconstruction hangars on Gardip. Almost makes me feel like a living ghost. So here's the drone deployment module, which gives us a laser that we can attach. And then a bunch of production as well. We're going to take this. We're not going to sell it.
Objective completed.
We got the Vanguard Pug, which is Tapples himself, I believe. And then some research and some energy. And I think, let's see, is Tapples... I don't know if he's just been added or where that pug goes. Oh, he's back here. Oh, no, that's the one that we built. Here he is. Here's our pug. All right, cool. So this is Tapples the pug. He's got a burst laser, blur cloud, healing charge, a bunch of cool stuff. And we probably want to just group these guys. And we'll send our other scout north.
Remnants of the Star Union that give a visiting army a boost. This can either be an instant effect or an effect that lasts until the end of the unit's next combat.
Okay, visit sites. That's cool. Let's group these guys. And where do we want to send them next? We've got some contact we can make up here. Let's head in this direction. These are both combat. Let's head over here with the scout that we made. Imperial production stash, thank you. Get some production, and it gives it to the nearest colony. That's cool. Now, we can annex an area as well, so that's something after we our next objective, we're going to go over here and try to annex this so that it becomes part of our larger colony.
Production ready.
And what do we want to build next? Once our research is done, I'm going to want to build this recreational dome. So I'm thinking let's maybe go military skirmish barracks. We can build specialist units, which gets us that pug, or we can build those assault bikes. Let's start with this one. Okay, where else? I guess we could take this guy way up here. You would get there in a couple of turns. Or we can just keep exploring as well. We do have action down there to consider. Let's keep exploring this area. When you zoom way out, you can see an overview of all these different sectors. You can see military representation, economic info, and then operations stuff.
Available for priming.
And we'll get into operations that are available for priming, as he said, a little bit later. But anyways, I think maybe this is a good place to stop. This video is already pretty long. We'll just go until the end of this turn, I think. Okay, that is protected. We'll start moving these guys. Up ahead. Here's some contact. Now, this is one of the Vanguard squad leaders, I believe. So we'll go there on the next turn. We can ask them to leave this area. Ask them for those quests again, but I think we're fine. Just chilling. And this is saying we can annex its first sector. Send an army to an adjacent sector to annex it, and then we can use that for our colony boost. And that's what we're going to do over here. It has to be one that's touching. We could go here and clear this and take that. We could grab this one if we wanted, and both of those will become available. That's based on our colony size also. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. If there's anything that wasn't clear, if you have questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying, because it would be nice to do some of this campaign and see where it leads and get better at it, because I'm learning it as well. I've been able to do the tutorial and some practice missions, but now that we're live, it's awesome. It's really cool. And eventually, we'll start moving a lot faster in terms of what we're building, what we're researching. The combat will go a little faster, but we're taking the time to explain it so that everyone's on the same page. Anyways, again, check out the links down below if you want to check this out for yourself. If you guys wouldn't mind dropping a like on the video, it helps me a lot when it's the first in the series. And if you're new here, consider sticking around, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you very soon. Bye for now.